Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. We are here to further examine the Quranic conception of al-bay' against the prohibition of riba. And one of the parameter that we can use to differentiate between al-bay' and riba, or the way how we can detect riba in the financial transaction is by looking at the ownership risk component in the buy and sell. So as we know that that the Quran has prescribed al-bay' over riba, and al-bay' as we see earlier can be understood as plain sale, buy and sell, retail wholesale. It can also be viewed as a leasing transaction involving the lessee and the lessor, and it can also be related to the transaction involving capital mobilization, which is mudarabah and musharakah. But the basic element that we must be able to appreciate in the Quranic conception of al-bay' is that whenever there is a buy and sell, whether the buying from the supplier is for resale on credit or on a cash basis, or it is for leasing, the idea is for us to see that there must be an ownership transfer from the selling party to the buying party, right? To the selling party, to the buying party who intend to lease the asset to the customer. So this ownership risk is a very important ingredient to evidence, the legality or the legitimacy of profit created from sale. No doubt that in sale, we know that the definition of sale is that there is a transfer of title from the supplier or from the seller to the buyer, that a sale is the movement of ownership from the selling party to the buying party, right? But at the same time, we must also be able to see that when the buying party is the true owner of that particular asset or commodity, or when that selling party or buying party, is a trader or a merchant who intend to resell the asset or who intend to lease the asset, the main idea here is to make sure that the merchant or the trader carry what we call ownership risk, right? So ownership is one requirement of a valid sale, meaning that the trader must be the true owner of the asset before he or she sells it to the marketplace. But then when we look at the transaction between the buyer and the selling party, what will evidence the legitimacy of the profit generated from the sale? Of course, we say that the merchant is the legitimate owner of the asset, so he deserves to acquire the profit from the sale. But what is the theory behind the acquisition of profit? What is the deserving element to explain that the merchant deserves the profit from the sale? Of course, this is related to the ownership risk that he carries before he is able to secure the sale. So this ownership risk can be called price risk or market risk, as we see earlier, that the merchant is subjected to the vagaries of the marketplace. The price of the goods is not guaranteed by way of contract or by way of coercion, or if there's a cartel among the selling party, no, that the sale is secured based on the contract of buy and sell, which is essentially driven by the price, and the price of the sale is dictated by the market forces. So that is market risk. And then we have seen earlier that the ownership risk will also be manifested in terms of inventory risk, quality risk, as well as the opportunity cost. So this I have explained earlier. So it is very, very important for students, to understand the meaning of ownership and ownership risk, and to distinguish them, so that in the contract of sale, we will be able to see that the selling party indeed has indeed secure ownership from the supplier, and before making the sale, the merchant is facing ownership risk, right? Or business risk in general. When we talk about business in general, we can coin the name business risk, and ownership risk is one of the so-called special type of business risk, where the nature of that ownership risk will further be explained by market risk or price risk, inventory risk, and quality risk. So what we should be looking here is that that when the merchant have secured the purchase from the supplier, then he intends to do the reselling in the marketplace. So while he is holding the asset intended for resale, the outcome of the sale is unknown, of course, right? Because the sale has not been secured, and therefore we do not know whether the merchant is able to make profit or otherwise. So the outcome of the sale is unknown. Thus, profit cannot be guaranteed, while loss cannot be eliminated in the contract of sale under the pretext of al-bay'. So the legal rule of al-ghurur bil-ghunni, that is, profit is accompanied with loss, is dutifully observed in al-bay'. So al-bay' is not simply viewed as a contract where the contract must be free from riba, gharar, maisir, and the prohibited commodity to be accepted as Sharia compliant. But the other side of the equation is that in the sale, the trading party must assume what we call ownership risk. So in the retail business, as we see earlier, with a capital investment of $50,000, let us say that Ibrahim purchases 1,000 units of goods, X, at $5 each. The market price is, we assume, is at $8 per unit. So this is the choice made by Ibrahim to put his 50,000 surpluses into al-bay' as a capital investment, where he intends to sell the good in the marketplace at the expected price of $8. So that is the prevailing price, which is currently at $8. So if he was able to gotten the cost at $5 each, then if he is able to sell at $8 each, then he can make a profit of $3 per unit. So if he is able to sell at the marketplace, then he makes $3 profit per unit, with a total profit of 3 ringgit or $3 times 10,000 unit, which is 30,000. So that is one possibility, that he can earn a windfall of 30,000, from that $3 profit per unit. However, if the prevailing price has come down to $2 per unit, so he makes a $3 loss per unit, and we can see that his total loss will be $3 loss multiplied by 1,000 unit, and that will be $30,000 loss. So we can see that based on that example, the outcome of the sale is known only when the sales are secured, either into a profit or loss. So we can see when the sales were secured at the 8 ringgit, then he make a $30,000 profit. But when he's not able to sell at the expected price, even worse, the market price went below the cost price of $2, so he lost $3 per unit, and he made a total loss of 30,000. So the capital investment of 50,000 is therefore subject to what we call appreciation, that is under the profit event, and depreciation under a loss event. So this is essentially, what we are expecting to see from the al-bay' transaction. That is when capital is injected into the business. Before securing any sale, the outcome of the sale is unknown, right? So meaning that this is not gharar or uncertainty, this is gharam. The fact that the sale is unknown because no sale has been secured. So when we see that there is no security about sales in the marketplace, then al-bay' gives no capital and profit guarantee, right? So unlike riba, where once you make the placement in the bank or you make a loan, then the contract of riba will guarantee, by default, the capital repayment and the interest income. Whereas in al-bay', when the money is injected into the sale transaction or the lease transaction, what we see here is that the outcome is only known when the sale is manifested into a profit and loss. So this is the morality of al-bay' that the Quran has prescribed over riba. And this is the fact that al-bay' has been able to manifest or to show the equitable transaction, in the sense that in al-bay' capital is allowed to appreciate and depreciate based on the market demand and supply. So the market forces, the market condition will determine how much profit or how much loss that the merchant will be able to acquire. This is opposite to the riba system, where the profit is secured once the placement were made with the bank, or once the loan is given away. So the profit and the capital appreciation is secured by way of a contract agreement, not by way of a natural forces of demand and supply. So that is the beauty of Islam, and we would like to see that the Muslim investor are able to appreciate this notion of ownership risk or business risk when they subscribe to the Quranic commandment of al-bay' over riba, that the idea is to see that investment will never guarantee surety in capital protection and profit acquisition. That profit can only be garnered by way of taking risk and accepting the liability of the investment. Okay guys, thank you very much for your time. I'll see you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.